I saw beam of light everywhere. And then the moment I saw those beam of lights, I thought to myself, the rapture is here.
It's like in the corner of her eyes, seeing like a little boy, or like a little ghost going to one of the rooms.
It's a journey in the self too, because you find your intuition and discernment. But we gotta realize that there's duality here.
Maybe 6 or 8 times over the course of a couple of years, I would wake up to this dark figure standing at the foot of my bed.
The green agenda is the obliteration of the human soul. They use children to do that. They can't do it without children. They need pure souls. And you cannot conduct a black mass without pure souls.
When you see that there's darkness, Satan exists, or that there's evil on earth, or that there's actually demons or whatever. I think it's a frequency when we're all together, really.
The light started like flicking off and on. So it was like a toddler, like a 5-year-old or 4-year-old.
At one point it started to gruff. I heard howls. I heard like this huffing sound, and I was petrified. I had no idea what it was.
Well, the demons are here, and they are going to steal the children.
Welcome to the show, everybody. You're listening to Apocalyptic Anomalies, where we shine light on the shadows to unlock all the secrets of our universe. I'm your host, Abner J. Valdez. If you have a crazy experience or story you want to share on the show, email me at apocalypticanomalies@gmail.com. That's apocalypticanomalies@gmail.com. Or you can hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. Either way works for me. Just get in contact with me. Today on the show, we have a very special guest, Norman Meredith from Beyond the Veil podcast. He comes on the show and shares his paranormal experiences with Bigfoot and UFOs. Let's get into the show right now. Sit back and enjoy the show. Welcome to Apocalyptic Anomalies, everybody. Today on the show, we have Norman Meredith from Beyond the Veil. A very special guest today. Been watching a lot of his content. Norman, before we start the show, can you please tell people where they could find you and your work?
You can find me on Facebook, YouTube. I'm looking for subscribers for YouTube. I'm on X and Spreaker or on audio files only currently. So you can find me on those 4 platforms at this time.
Yes. Awesome. Yeah, so we were briefly talking about how you actually post some comedic I guess memes on your page.
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit to us?
I've had some encounters with Bigfoot.
Wow.
Never actually seen it, okay? But
Yeah.
now some people have a gift of empathy or psychics. They can feel presences and such. And whether
Right.
you consider a blessing or a curse, in my lifetime, I've had a lot of supernatural occurrences occur to me. I grew up next to a graveyard. So
Wow.
I've had a lot of encounters with paranormal. I have seen my share of flying saucers. And
Wow.
my first time out on a Bigfoot expedition, I was helping out a fellow podcaster because I'm an active duty EMT here in the state of South Carolina. So
Wow, thank you for your services.
my medical experience was asked to help cover in case something happened. And usually when I go out in the field, I'd always get this spidey sense feeling that something was there.
Yeah.
Well, we've been going out to the site in South Carolina here, near in Greenville County. It's all I can tell you. And we put up some trail cams one day. Well, the next day I went back out there to recover them, and I was by myself, and I had to go up this hill a little bit to recover this one camera. Well, I got the camera, and I was starting to make my way down, and well, I'm not a skinny, lithe person like I was in my 20s. Okay, I'm almost 60 years old, and I slipped and went T-cable over head over heels
Oh my God.
down this hill. And while I'm going down this hill, it landed on my ass at the base of the hill. There is this creature, and I'm saying creature because I'm assuming it was a Bigfoot. If it was something else, I was in trouble. I've heard deer chuff. It wasn't a deer. No way it was a boar. It wasn't a bear. I assume it was a Bigfoot because I felt the presences, and we've located plenty of prints, partial prints. We found a nest where 2 large-style creatures were sleeping, and the only way they could get to it was practically almost a straight-up climb to a small cave.
Wow.
So the only thing I can say, it was a Bigfoot. And
Wow.
so I decided, I got with a local artist here in Anderson,
Mm-hmm.
and I had her humorize my encounter with a Bigfoot laughing at me as I go head over heels down this hill.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty awesome, just seeing that, because it's those encounters are very I mean, I can only imagine it's never happened to me, but from what people talk about and what I hear, it's very like scary, frightening. So for you to make like kind of like a meme about it, it kind of like makes it feel a little bit less intimidating, I guess.
Yeah, let me just say, it's a very unique experience when you have an encounter.
Yeah.
I was on a field expedition. The Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization invited me to go on one of their field trips, and I went out there with them for a weekend in a location I can't tell about.
Yeah.
I had to sign a bunch of NDA paperwork. They'd seen my shows, and I knew one of the members, and he invited me to come along. Well, while we're out there for a couple days, we'd seen what's called ghost orbs or ghost lights.
Yeah.
Because the area we're in had a lot of former Native Americans that lived there previously.
Yeah.
And so the ghost lights or ghost orbs is, if you do research, you'll find out that they are supposed to be the remnants of the tortured souls of the Native American Indians.
Wow.
So while we're out there, we're seeing a lot of these ghost orbs of various colors, and we'd hear whoops. Bigfoot is known for making whoops. So to make fun of it, I had my artist friend do another encounter of me as the investigator, looking at what looks like a Bigfoot playing with two Bigfoots playing with a laser pointer, doing a little points of light, and another one doing a whoop to humorize the situation.
Nice.
Because it was an amazing thing to hear these sounds that were not being made by man. Now I've heard the fellow investigators making the whoops, and hearing something that was not human was phenomenal.
Wow.
And then during the course of a couple of days, sometimes you get that spidey feeling that something was there. Some of the guys and ladies seen red eye shine. We found one print we think was a juvenile print.
Wow.
And it was an amazing time.
Sounds
I made
like
some great friends. Had an awesome time, learned a lot. And
That's great.
Episode 28, I think it is, I had a witness come on my show. And
Yes.
Rick Riles was
Yes,
on my
I
show.
saw it. Rick and Nolan. Yeah.
Yes, they talked about Nolan's encounter, and Rick talked about his expertise and the investigation he did on Nolan's encounter.
Great episode, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we had a good time talking about that. But like I said, I humorized that encounter. During that over the weekend thing, there was a Friday night when I went back to my cabin. I'm chilling, relaxing, and then there was a big whoop outside my cabin. I come out of my chair a little bit because that was the last thing I was expecting from my cabin, out my cabin.
Yeah, especially when you're relaxing,
Yeah. And then to come find out next day, I'm on one side of this lake, and across the lake from me is some of the other researchers. And they're sitting there watching three different Bigfoots in a family group or a unit walking around my cabin at night. I'm like, so they're sitting there recording information like, okay, Norman's got a Bigfoot at this time. There's three of them of different sizes. They're walking this way, that way. And they tell me about next day, and I'm like, wonderful. So I'm bait. So they wrote it off as a one-time occurrence. Then Saturday night, what happens? They're out there doing it again. They left me alone Saturday night. Yeah. So Sunday, everybody leaves. I stay an extra day. So at 4:58 in the morning, it's 3:58 in the morning. I'm sound asleep in my bed, and something comes up to the window and bangs on the window, just above the window, 4 times. And the cabin shook. A human cannot make a cabin shake. It don't shake walls, roofs, and everything else. This thing was big. I did not go outside that door because one thing, I don't know exactly what it was. I did not know what its intentions was, but the fact of the knocks were similar to what I did that night. That night, I had a small fire in the fire pit.
Yeah.
And I did 2 knocks. What? Bang, 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 bang. You're supposed to do it in threes. Bigfoot does things in threes. So he replied by banging on my door, on my window. So with 2 sets of 2. As if saying, yeah,
That's great.
like,
That's crazy.
I heard you. So I had another cartoon drawn up of waking up, eyes wide, of a Bigfoot.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, you had the little nightcap on too.
Yeah, smiling through the window, banging on the wall, or banging on the window, just to make fun of the situation.
That's awesome.
Because a lot of people across the United States and other places in the world, because there are other Bigfoot-like creatures around the world, when something similar to that happens, it scares the living snot out of them. They go running into the middle of the room. They get into a panic. I just I would have turned over and went back to sleep and said to myself, yeah, big guy. Okay, you got me. Which I almost did, but I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I figured he's going to come back around for round 2 if I turn the lights off. So I just figured I'd turn the lights on. I'm up. I'll just go sit on the couch and go read my Kindle now. I'll make breakfast in a little bit because it's like, all right, you got me. I'm awake now.
Wake up. Yeah. That's your alarm for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You said you also had some UFO experiences too, right?
I've had quite a few since about the age of 7, believe it or not.
So I actually had a question before you even go into the UFO things. What was the first age you had an encounter?
7 years old.
7 years old? That's when it all started for you.
Yeah, most of them occurred in upstate New York, in and around Erie County. It was a silver orb I seen up in the sky.
Oh, please go into it in detail, please.
Ain't really much to say. It was just a shiny silver orb that was. It was where it shouldn't have been. I mean, it was a cloudy day, okay, and so technically you could not see an aircraft. You couldn't see lights, and this thing was standing out from among it, and it was just following a car. It was a giant silver orb, and that was the first time I've ever seen one. And then later on, a few years later, we moved into Buffalo, and I was on a school bus trip coming back at night. We're coming across what's known as the Peace Bridge. And as we're coming over the water, I looked out over the water, and I see this giant rectangular shape with 2 rows of individual orange balls.
Wow.
It might have been 8 balls per row, 2 rows each. Some of the other students, I tried to think about, was it a light ship? No. Was it aircraft? No. Because aircraft don't have 2 rows of light like that. I said, could it have been a blimp?
No.
Lights. So the first thing I was like maybe 13, I guess, at the time. I was thinking, what could it be or not be? I was debunking it before I even seen it.
Yeah.
And then years later, I moved down to South Carolina, and I used to be a practicing Catholic. And we got out of a Catholic school, after-school Catholic program, and we were all outside, a bunch of us teenagers. We're out there BSing and all that. And one of the guys looks up and says, look up there and look, see what I'm seeing. We're watching this light dancing in the sky. And so this light was dancing around the sky. And there's about 6 to 8 of us watching this light dance around in the sky.
Wow.
And that was the 3rd time. And let's see, it's third time. There was another time. I can't think exactly where it was. That was the third time. Then the fifth, I can't think of another time, but another time was, there was a little bit of a gap, because I can't remember the other times, but there was a time in 1997, I was down in Panama, Florida. And I was sitting on the beach. It was late. The sun had just gone down. And I was just watching a fishing boat bounce, just rocking in the water. I'm just sitting there watching fish. And I literally swear, a voice said to me, "Look up." So I look up and I see these two orange balls of light moving at tremendous speed. I thought it might have been aircraft, because there's an Air Force base up the road going north. So I'm watching them until they do a 45-degree angle turn, which a modern aircraft cannot do.
Wow.
And the fact that something spoke to me and said, "Look up." But there was nobody around me. It was in my head that said, "Look up."
And what do you think that was, Norman?
Something wanted me to see these craft.
You think they were trying to communicate with you?
I think it was a form of communication.
In your mind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wanted me to see it for a reason.
Wow.
And then the last couple of years, last 2 years, coming back from my show, there's been some nights where I've seen an object off in the distance. One is similar to the rectangular UFO I've seen with the multiple lights. I've seen that. And then I've gone back to try to debunk it, checking for blimps, because sometimes we have some airships come through here. No blimps. We do have an place down here that repairs military aircraft. Okay, I checked in that. They don't fly out where I seen it. So I could rule that out. Was it military helicopters that come out there? Oh yeah, there was a time before 97. Now I remember. Stepped out of the house. We were watching F-14s before they got rid of them. And this was headed down towards Atlanta. We could look towards the direction of Atlanta, chasing a unidentified aircraft in the direction of Atlanta. We were watching them fly all over the place, chasing a ball of light. That was the other one.
So when you saw these UFOs, right, these objects in the sky, was there any noise to it?
I couldn't tell you. It's too far away.
Wow.
Way too far away.
And you didn't feel anything like a presence?
Just that one time when something told me to look up.
Wow. And it's just in your mind, huh? It's like they're communicating with you, like they want you to see them. And you said you don't know the reason, huh?
No.
What do you think? If you can give us an explanation of what your reasoning is, why do you think they communicated with you like that?
Well, like I mentioned earlier about psychic ability. Okay.
Yeah.
Some people, I believe, have a degree of psychic ability. Some people have innate abilities to feel and see things. Some people may have degrees of empathy. Okay. There's some people that can always make a friend. There's some men and women that can meet a person right off the bat. Next thing you know, they're dating them, and you're like, how could they ever do that? You would think they're totally incompatible by looks and whatnot, but they have this ability to do it. There's a presence about them.
Yeah.
There's some people that can be leaders because of that presence. Okay, it's a form of empathy. And it also can be used to project feelings and receive feelings. So it can be a form of telepathy, where they can communicate. Wow. And then there's other forms of psychic gifts that may be a beacon to a person, as well as spiritual. Okay, depending on your spirit. I think, depending on how spiritual you may be, or if you've ever had some kind of encounter, may have opened you up and given you sort of like a beacon. Because like I say, before I ever got into Bigfoot and UFOs, we lived by a graveyard for the first few years of my life, and we had a lot of spiritual activity in the house I lived in. It was literally haunted.
Wow.
Spiritual apparitions, things moving around.
Can you go into some of those stories? That's pretty interesting
That
stuff.
was before I got old enough. See, my mom had to explain those stories to us.
Okay.
I do recall one time seeing a sheet move,
Wow.
and like I said, I was young when I seen that. But growing up, I've seen apparitions, and then
Mm.
in my job as an EMT, and before that, I've lived in some houses that had apparitions in it, or a deceased family member stayed around. We
Wow.
had a man in brown at this one home we lived in, and a little white ball that ran around the house, but it wasn't a dog. The man in
Wow.
brown, we believe, was my grandfather because he always wore tan. It was like a uniform for him. Wore tan pants, tan shirt, because that's what he wore to work. And then coming home, that was his relaxing clothes.
Yeah.
So we figured that was my grandfather. He was sticking around a little bit.
Wow.
Uh, when my stepfather died, he appeared to me. I was in the military. I was home on leave visiting some friends in another town, and I didn't know he passed away until I seen him make a full body apparition to where I was staying.
Wow.
My grandmother did that after she died. We went up to her home in no, that was my stepfather. My grandmother died down here. We went up to New York to bury her, and she made an appearance up there in New York at my aunt's house.
Wow.
She let us know. And there's some EMS stations I've worked at where I've seen shadows. I've had a picture of what looks like faces on a window that
Hmm.
shouldn't have been there. We've heard doors open and close. There's been
Wow.
bay doors at one station that used to go up and down. The trucks would start up. The lights and sirens would go on. That's
Hmm.
serious poltergeist activity.
That's crazy. Just the doors opening and closing alone.
That's scary.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
really. And in that one station, they believe it was because two reasons. One was supposedly a priest died in the back of one of the ambulances. And the other was when this station was built, there was supposedly a graveyard there and an old mill graveyard. And supposedly they moved the graves before building
Yeah.
the station.
They always do that, Norman.
Yeah, like in Poltergeist.
Yeah.
And at that one station, we had some serious poltergeist activity. There was one night, and for some reason, they always come to find me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I was
That's pretty intense stuff, man.
I was sleeping on the couch, and like I said, I used to be a practicing Catholic. And this figure that looked like the Virgin Mary came walking in the door. I watched her walk into this day room where we were sleeping, walked over to me and touched me. And it scared the snot out of me. Well, it woke up everybody else sleeping in there, and they said, "Oh, you were just having a dream or a bad nightmare." And one of the guys, his name was Red, he said, "No, I seen it walk in here and touch him. It was a ghost."
Wow.
Yes, so I had vindication that something actually occurred.
Doesn't that feel good
Yes.
when somebody's like, "Nope, I saw it. I
Yep.
saw it."
And see,
You
they
felt
already
it and he
knew
saw it.
that this activity goes on there because a lot of them experienced it before.
Yeah, man. Yeah, people don't believe some of this stuff. Like, oh, you're just dreaming. It was just something you saw.
Yeah,
It's real, man.
it is.
What do you think, in your opinion, right? What do you
Okay.
think those like lingering spirits are? What is that? Why do they linger? And what do you think they are?
Unfinished business. They may want to just watch over somebody.
Mm.
Maybe they act like a guardian angel. Some people think they may be demons that are here to cause harm. Depending on it just depends on your belief or what you think. I can't truly say exactly what they are or what they're not
Right.
because even if you talk with them, are they telling the truth?
Mm.
Because you don't know if they're actually who they say are there, or are they a demon impersonating who they are?
Right.
Now,
I've heard about that.
there's a spiritualist here in Anderson. He's been on my show once. I've talked with him before. His name is Dennis Carroll. And to him, no disrespect, he believes everything is demonically linked.
Right.
But I try to keep an open mind about things.
Yeah, you have to.
But I think a lot of times it's because they believe there's unfinished business, or they believe they have to look after somebody. Is what I believe a lot of times.
Yeah, it makes sense. Feels like you said your stepfather, right? In his uniform, how he just kind of lingered around.
No,
Oh, your grandfather. Excuse me, sorry about that.
That's
Your
fine.
grandfather, how he kind of lingered around, and you guys saw the brown, and it reminded you of his uniform.
My stepfather came because he raised us he raised me and my brothers from the age 6 on till I was 22.
Wow.
When he passed away. And so he was my father. Okay? He was my dad.
Great.
My real father, sorry, I have nothing good to say about that subject.
Right.
He was never in my life.
Yeah. I can relate to that too, you know?
Yeah.
So you're definitely not alone there.
A lot of people don't understand that sometimes.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. Same thing in your situation. My stepfather raised me and my brothers and my sister since I was 4. You know, I never really had a relationship with my father, same as you, so I couldn't tell you.
You're right.
But sometimes that's the way life works out, and it's better that way, you know?
Right.
So, but yeah, so one thing that really captivated me about your page, right? Because I was scrolling on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of kind of searching and researching for guests to be on the show and stuff like that. Just because it's recently starting and everything.
Yeah.
So when I was scrolling on Facebook, I came across your page and your logo just captivated my attention. I was like, wow, what is this? Beyond the Veil. And I see the hand pulling the curtain. And then I see the Bigfoot and the alien question mark. Is it really though? You know? And I was like, wow, what is this? I start clicking it and I was hooked from the first episode, man.
Well, I appreciate it. My friend Jackie, my co-host.
From the other side of the moon, right?
Yeah, she's from the other side of the moon. I got to use that. She appreciates me using that so I don't accidentally slip and say where she's from.
Yeah, that's
I did that one time and we're not going to talk about it.
Edit it out.
But we were talking about what I should name the show. We were naming a lot of things. She said, how about Beyond the Veil? And I got to thinking about it because technically there's a veil between worlds. Yeah. If you think about it. And the veil is like a door that you got to open or move. Okay? Portals, dimensional rifts, or tears. Those can be considered veils. Yeah. And some people believe some UFOs are interdimensional or time-traveling devices, which means they got to travel through a portal, a rift, or maybe a veil per se. They got to emerge from somewhere. Yeah. Some people believe that Bigfoot may be either an interdimensional traveler from another dimension or another world, or possibly he could be a time traveler. So once again, we're talking about a veil or a portal. And then between heaven and hell, there's a veil between those dimensions. Yeah. And so that's why I call it Beyond the Veil, is moving the veil back to see what's behind it.
To see what's behind it. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Definitely a great logo, and I love it on your shirt too. The abbreviations.
Yes.
BTV, you know, that's very cool, man.
And then I got the whole logo on the back of its shirt, just like on the front.
That's awesome. Yeah, man, you got to market it, you know. That's amazing. Yeah, I've been looking through all your episodes. Like I said, the first episode that really caught my attention was when you had you were talking about you had a witch on your episode.
Candy Miles, she's a friend of mine.
Yeah, talking about witchcraft. I was like, wow, you know, it's like that stuff. It really does exist, you know. There's a lot of things that you see in movies, and you're like, oh, it's just Hollywood, or.
Let me tell you a story. You know? My mom used to practice witchcraft.
Wow.
She went to see my aunt in Rhode Island when my aunt's husband was in the brig. And one night, her, my aunt, my father at the time were in the kitchen. So all us kids heard some noise. So we snuck down the stairs. We're all peering around the banister. My mom's in the kitchen. She's got a wooden ladle in her hands, and she's doing something like this, okay? But the thing that stood out was her eyes. They were red.
Oh, man.
She was conducting a spell.
Wow.
And that sight will stay in my mind for the rest of my life. And whatever she did made things easier for my uncle to get out of the brig.
Wow.
Because apparently he had an ex-wife that was trying to cause him trouble, and it all went away.
All of a sudden.
Yes.
How did you feel when that happened in that moment? If you could remember, like,
we all ran up the stairs in terror.
You guys were scared, yeah.
I mean, we're like 5 years old.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
4 or 5 years
really
old.
intense stuff right there.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Wow.
What would you say if you seen your mom in the kitchen, her eyes turning red, you know, and strange things are happening? She's waving a ladle around. She's got a book in one hand, and it looks like got candles going, maybe incense or something. It's like,
wow.
I think I need to leave.
Yeah, I'd probably go to my room. Act like I never saw it.
Yeah, there's some things in life you don't want to see your mom or dad doing.
That being one of them, right?
That'd be one of them.
Yeah, that's true. Makes sense. You know, man, I can go on and on about your episodes. Another episode that really captivated me was episode 24. You shared the Triangle UFO experience, what you shared on the show,
right?
And you said preparation for revelation.
Yes.
Can you go into that a little bit and explain that to me?
I've been watching the news feeds, other documentaries, stories that people tell, even science fiction novels. Okay. Did you ever hear of the TR-3B?
No. What is that?
The TR-3B is a U.S. Navy anti-gravity fighter. It's a legitimate, patented aircraft. And guess what? When you look at the documents for it and the plans, okay, that they have on file, a lot of them look exactly the same as some of the pictures and illustrations that witnesses have shown.
Wow.
Okay. But going back some, so that means, one, they're using that to open up people's minds by showing off the black triangle, okay? And also the stuff you're seeing now, we're going to start now and go backwards with the congressional hearings, okay? They have literally admitted we have captured UFOs. We have extraterrestrial bodies. Supposedly we have extraterrestrials. They admitted this in open hearings, but it didn't make a lot of noise. During the Super Bowl, they talked about shooting down a unidentified flying object. Not a Chinese balloon, a UFO. But it was lost in the Super Bowl. Okay, and then the way they are, and if you think about over the years, you a science fiction fan?
Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica. Star Wars.
Big fan.
Star Trek.
Like it.
Space 1999.
No, haven't.
Every UFO type movie made since the 1950s. TV shows related to UFOs. Back in the 1950s, there might have been a big terrorized mob, okay? People may have been worried about, because Orson Welles put the terror in everybody when he did his War of the Worlds broadcast. But after the UFOs started showing up in the late 1948, 49, after the UFO crash in Roswell, they started making UFO-related movies.
Hmm.
Some of them were good. What I mean good is you had good aliens. Some of them were bad. We had bad aliens. And some of them were neutral aliens. They were acclimatizing the public. They had to start early. To acceptance. And what could be possibly out there. And then it just kept growing. The 1960s is when you seen Star Trek.
Yeah.
Then later on it became Space 1999. There was a British series called UFO about a secret agency that intercepted and destroyed UFOs or captured them. Look it up. It's a cool series, 2 seasons.
Okay. Thank
Called
you.
UFO. And then later on you had Battlestar Galactica. Buck Rogers was written back in the 1920s, 1930s.
That's way before my time.
Yeah, but they made they made a movie about it, and then they did a TV series. Okay, they opened up the thought of outer space, not so much alien stuff, but it opened up the thought of outer space, as did Star Trek. They opened up about other races, space travel, meeting people, first contact. Why first contact? Got any idea? To open people's mind to meeting new races. And then Star Wars, they show you the interconnections. Chewbacca, they made something that was big and friendly. Yeah, it looked like a Sasquatch. That was deliberate. Okay?
Yeah.
And then the other aliens you got to meet. Yeah, it was mostly humans except for Chewbacca. He was one of the main characters, but it was to open people's minds up some more acceptance. And then they start talking more and more about UFOs. You see it more in the media. You see it more on social media. You see it in TV.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Revelation's coming.
And what do you think, in your opinion, right? You seem very wise and seasoned. Seems like you know a lot about what's really going on. So for the audience, in your opinion, what do you think is the big revelation, preparation, and the end game? What is the end game?
They're going to announce there'll be UFOs that may show up over some major cities. And there'll be some landings where we'll make contact, not with one, but some multiple races that'll say they are part of a galactic star nation or an alliance of star nations, and that they're here to offer their hand in friendship, offer the sciences, medicines, and technology to bring us into their world. Now, on episode, was it 4, I think, I had Craig Martell on, former U.S. Marine Colonel, intelligence colonel. He was up there dealing with star treaties and all this other stuff. He writes science fiction. Okay? He accidentally slipped. I had to go back and listen to my show 3 times. He admits 8. We're in contact with 8 different races that are already a galactic alliance.
Wow.
He slipped. We're in contact with 8 different alien races already.
Wow. And what do you think that is?
Who? Or what?
Yeah. Yeah. What are the races?
I'd have to pin him down one day, and sometimes he talks to me about it, and sometimes he just nods his head.
Yeah, because I've heard about different ones. I've heard about like reptilians.
The reptilians are supposedly the bad guys. Okay?
Yeah.
There's 3 types of grays. The large ones are supposedly humans from the future. The middle ones are like mild-mannered management type. The smaller ones are drones, basically. Then there's Nordics. They're a little over 6 foot tall.
Oh.
They're supposed to be peaceful, quiet type. I didn't realize this race existed till a few years ago. The mantids, think giant praying mantises.
Holy smokes.
From what I understand on them, what limited knowledge I've been able to pick up is they may be scholars and scientists.
Hmm.
There's supposed to be something like a dwarf-like race. Something that looks like goblins or gremlins.
Wow.
Some that look like Bigfoot.
A lot of those experiences.
Yeah. There's been some that look like blobs, per se.
Mm.
Those are a couple right off the top of my head, I can tell you.
Man, it almost feels like I was watching this series. It was like an Avengers series. It was like something about reptilians and how they can like take the form of humans, right?
Yeah.
But
supposedly Hillary Clinton's one.
Man, I feel like they live among us, man. They put it on these shows like a sci-fi movie or show, and it's like they kind of slipping it in your face, like, hey, look at what's really going on. But it's just a movie. Don't worry, guys. Everything's fine. Keep living your life, you know?
Is it?
It's like, man, I feel like they're all around us, man. How do we really know? How can we really tell, you know?
Well, have you ever heard the theory that there was a predecessor race here on Earth?
Please explain.
Okay, there's a theory that there was a predecessor race on Earth, and believe it or not, it was reptilian. That the reptilians that people talk about were a predecessor race to us. They had an advanced civilization, and they realized that this world-destroying comet asteroid was coming, but with all their technology, they couldn't divert it. But they did build like space arcs and ships, and so like majority of the population fled in these ships. The others supposedly went underground. And they figured, well, we'll just leave for a little bit, wait until things settle down, turn back to normal, and we'll come back. Well, the spacefaring ones got busy out there conquering, doing things, you know, raising kingdoms or empire, doing trade, you know, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So when they come back, what do they find? The monkeys have evolved. But the monkeys supposedly didn't just evolve. The reptilians that were left behind, because there were so few, played with the genes. And they sort of helped us evolve because they needed a race to help rebuild things and get things going. And then there was a revolution, blah, 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 and we're now the dominant race, supposedly. But they still supposedly run around the reptilians because they have this ability to camouflage, or chameleons.
Wow. Yeah.
The
You said
royal
earlier,
family is supposed to be a race of reptilians. That's why why do you think they call a lot of the royal families blue bloods? Because reptilian blood is supposed to be
blue. And you said Hillary is one, right?
Supposedly.
At least you think.
I'm saying supposedly. I don't want no visits from the Secret Service.
Quote unquote, right?
Quote unquote.
Wow, man. And
it's a popular conspiracy theory that Hillary Clinton's supposed to be a reptilian.
Who knows, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Man. Okay, so another thing I want to talk about.
Sure.
You slightly talked about with Jackie on your show about the incident in the mall that happened.
Oh yes,
less than a year ago.
Year.
Yeah.
Around Christmas time.
What are your thoughts on that, man? And I was listening to your show, which was really interesting when you said, or Jackie said, that they flipped the coordinates for Antarctica or something like that. Can you explain that to us in the audience? And I'll make sure I put the episode in the description so they could check it out.
If I understand what Jackie was saying, was the coordinates were originally supposed to have been for Antarctica or something, okay? Or were very similar to Antarctica, but they changed it. Instead of Antarctica, it appeared in Florida. So their, say, teleport beacon or portal beacon went off in the wrong place.
Man, that's intense, man.
Because there is 2 different videos of what looked like a portal opening up. One was in the car park and one was inside the actual mall.
That is intense stuff, man.
In the mall encounter, Jackie and I were watching a video when the portal opened up in the mall. A person literally ran out of their shoes. You can't fake that.
No, that's fear.
That is real fear. That cannot be faked.
Wow.
And so then they tried to play it off as a hologram projector, mass hysteria. No. Because supposedly black helicopters showed up and other individuals and the area was closed down. There are members of the police department to this day that will not talk about it.
So frustrating.
Yes. Something did happen. Because if it was a prank, they would have talked about it.
Not only that, it's like so many people on the prank, man.
Exactly. They would
That's
talk
like
about it.
Mass prank then.
I mean, it would have been in the news as a prank. You didn't see it in the news as a prank. They shut it down too quick, too fast.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I heard about it maybe a couple of days, and then all of a sudden something else, it was gone. I'm like,
yeah,
wait a second.
That's why I say a lot of things will be coming to light, especially with the UFOs, because it's getting that time. It'll be close.
Why do you think they're hiding it, though? Why? They're still hiding it. Like,
because
instead of just...
think white hats and black hats.
Yeah.
If you're a black hat, you don't want the status quo that you've been maintaining upset. Your control over petrodollars, which is oil, energy infrastructure, medicine. How much money do you make by selling medicines that don't cure you, but...
Yeah, they keep you on a treatment. They treat you, but they never cure you.
Correct. Like, so, there is a rumor about these health beds that you get in one of these beds and it will cure you, literally cure you. They could supposedly rejuvenate you, but the only ones that supposedly have it is certain elites. Now,
of course.
I'm using the air quotes because I don't want to have to shoot some black suit that comes after me.
Right. Quote unquote.
Quote unquote. Okay? And that's what the black hats have been keeping back.
Yeah.
Okay?
Makes sense.
This is why the white hats have now been moving up the game. They've got the support now from more allies, we'll say.
Yes. I feel it.
And so they're able to start changing things.
It's crazy, man.
You know, that's like when Trump was in office. There was supposedly a meeting. Him and Netanyahu, I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, the Israeli Prime Minister, had a meeting with an alien race. Or an alien representative. That's all I'm going to say. A very positive meeting.
Yeah, it seems that way. It seems that way. There's a lot of, you could see it's kind of like a revolution, like the wheels are turning now. People are starting to wake up. People are starting to realize things. I think people are starting to push back. They want the truth, you know.
Exactly.
And you see a lot of people talking about it more open to it, you know, posting things. You can't hide everything.
No.
You know? So yeah, I think we do have the support, you know. Ever since I was a kid, I've always felt like we're living in a world that's not this reality. You know?
Exactly. And that's why in Hollywood, a lot of things, even in Hollywood, you got white hats, black hats.
Sure, yeah.
That's why in Hollywood, you'll find some people are revealing the truth through the use of media, through movies, TV shows, books. I believe there's a lot of authors that don't realize it, but they are subconsciously, what's the word I'm looking for? They're subconsciously prompted to write
Yeah.
some books. Others are
Yeah.
already been dialed in to write these books. I know I'm sounding weird or crazy, like a
No.
conspiracy theorist, but
No, not at all.
this is a kind of a belief that this is to make acceptance easier and to
Yeah.
give you and to make you question what's going on.
Yeah. What can we do?
Keep our eyes open, continue to ask questions, post stuff. Ask, look at things. Not everything we see here lately on Instagram, Facebook is real. Some of it's being AI manipulated.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I've seen some pictures that are supposed to be UFOs. I look at myself,
No.
that's an AI manipulation, or it's been a CGI manipulation before AI got into it. I've been looking at brown and white pictures, I guess you call them, of supposed Bigfoot sightings with people. You're ruining
Norman.
the Bigfoot community by doing that.
Norman, this is it though. That's what they're trying to do, you know? And the better AI gets, the harder it's gonna be for not people like me and you that are actually searching for these answers, right?
Correct.
But people that are just, the casuals, right?
Right.
That's where it's gonna get harder.
Right.
And that's what's gonna, kind of try to bury the truth again.
But that's our job as podcasters is
Yes.
if we can't tell the truth enough, our job is try to open up their mindset enough to go from here to maybe here.
Yeah.
To get them to think a little bit.
No, man, I got a question for you, man.
Sure.
When was the first time that you felt like you're waking up? Like, I'm waking up to all this BS, man, around
You
me.
want an honest answer?
Yeah, hit me.
I stopped watching TV.
That's crazy.
Part of it was in the military. And then afterwards, I didn't watch a lot of TV. I read books.
Programming. Yeah.
I was
crazy.
picky about what I watched. Especially news. I'm picky about what I watch.
No, the news, man, lately, right? Like
it's
the
not
last,
news.
No.
Not news like it used to be when I was a kid.
No.
They call it media now. Do you know what media is?
Right.
Entertainment.
Yeah. How can I get more views? How can I get the ratings up?
Used to be called a news service.
Right.
It was providing actual news. Now it's news media. Media means entertainment.
Yeah.
They're trying to entertain you with the news.
It's just trying to push the numbers. How can we get ratings? How can we entertain people? Mm-hmm. I remember when I was a kid, I used to see heartfelt stories on the news.
Yeah.
I don't
see that no more.
All you see is negative energy, like
exactly.
trying to drain your energy, trying to drain your spirit,
Exactly. You know what another problem is?
Gotta get away from that, man.
This is the other problem.
It's in your pocket all day, Norman.
How many times you see people that are doing...
You know what? And I'm guilty of it too sometimes, man.
Oh, yeah. I'll admit. But I use it because I got to monitor my posts. I got to monitor things. I'm talking to people that want to know information about my show. Yes, it's handy. But not to the point where you don't pay attention to your children. Not to the point that you're a hazard on the road. So my job...
Wow.
What were you doing when you had the wreck? Oh, I was talking on the phone, or I went to look at something on the internet. Really?
That's crazy.
Or I'm trying to do patient care, and what are they doing? Oh, I'm in the back. Give me that damn phone.
Man.
I hate when people try to talk on the phone while I'm doing treatment.
That's unbelievable, man. It's like people are living in this fake reality, man.
Exactly.
Sometimes you just want to smack people, and be like, wake up, man.
Oh, I'm waiting 2.5 more years. I'm going to retire and just be a hermit and do my shows, do my investigation, and limit my thing with idiots.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of people out there that are lost. But like you said, our job is to wake these people up,
That's
as best as we can,
My goal, like I say on the show, is if we can help one person, one family, then I feel like I've accomplished a lot. Right now, I'm working with a family down in Saluda that may have not one, but 2 cryptids on their property.
Wow.
We do believe one of them is a Bigfoot.
Hmm.
The other one, we got it down to 2 creatures. But till we can get a little more evidence, it's a toss-up between what's called a gugway, or one of the lizard men that sometimes you can find in the lower part of the state. But this is in the middle part of the state, so it's...
What is a
maybe a
gugway?
Or a dogman. Think of a Bigfoot, but more baboonish.
Oh, I heard of those.
Or a manic. What's the other word? There's another
Kind
type of baboon.
like a short snout.
Yeah, manic. It's another baboon-like creature, but they're vicious. Mandolins.
They're vicious, huh?
Yeah. The gugways are very vicious. They don't like people.
I was talking to a gentleman on Facebook Messenger, and he actually sent me a photo, and he told me a story about how the gugway what's it called?
Gugway.
Mm-hmm. How he stole a dog off someone's property, and someone captured a photo of that cryptid holding, like, looking like a white dog, like on his arm.
It's very possible it was a gugway.
That's crazy, man.
They are not afraid of humans.
Yeah, it seemed very bold. I feel like lately you see a lot of these, you hear a lot of these encounters. These things are becoming very bold. Like,
they're slightly bigger than Bigfoots. They're a lot more aggressive. Now, when I go out in the field, okay, do you think I go out carrying nothing on me?
Yeah, Norman.
I carry a 10mm sidearm, and I sometimes have this very large rifle called a SOCOM 458 Devastator. The bullets are as big as my thumb.
Can I borrow it?
Sure.
That's cool, man.
We don't play. There's some guys that sometimes go with me. We don't play because there are other monsters out there besides Bigfoot.
Yeah.
When I go out there, I make my peace with them. I let them know, hey, yes, I may be carrying, but it's not for you.
Right.
Plus, there's also the great North American meth head. They like to roam the woods too.
Oh no! At night?
Day, night. They like to do just that.
That's dangerous, man. That's so dangerous.
That's why I carry.
Jeez, man.
Our world is getting dangerous.
Yeah, man. I fear for our generation after us. Like the next generation and our kids. It's like,
oh God, I have no hope left for them unless a revelation comes.
Man,
revelation comes, then I might have hope for them.
Man, if God's coming, he's got to come right now.
If revelation come, then us oldsters can get rejuvenated to their age, to be physically their age, to kick their butts and get them back in line.
Yeah.
Because they don't listen to us at our age.
Man. All I could do is talk to my kids about stuff like that, That's it. Keep trying to drill it.
But like I say, the most important thing is keep your eyes open.
Yeah.
If you're in a group, everybody write independent notes of your encounter. Time, place, weather, direction, everything you can think possible, put in there. What you seen, what you heard, excuse me, what you smell, how you felt, things like that. Pictures, video. If you have a recorder, record it.
Yeah.
Those help build a case. Then a good investigator should bring proper equipment to record for EMF energy, radiation. They may take soil samples. They may look at the weather conditions themselves, aircraft patterns. They'll look at everything possible. First, they'll try to debunk it. Then if they can't debunk it, then they'll look at the other reasons, other things. They'll look at people. They might even ask questions that may seem personal, like medical health. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you doing illegal drugs? Were you under the influence? That'll be part of the debunking process.
All valid questions, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then once you strip away all that, there's nothing else left but the truth of what's going on.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Makes sense. Wow. Norman, this is awesome, man. Any final comments you want to say here to the audience?
Well, I can say if you have a Bigfoot encounter, I'd recommend you reach out to the Bigfoot Field Research Organization. Report it to them. These people are great field investigators. It might take them a little bit, but they'll treat you right. They'll treat you as a witness, unless you're trying to pull a scam, and they will debunk it, and they will treat you accordingly. But those are the people I would turn to for Bigfoot encounters. They don't handle Dogman or anything else. If you have any other encounters, reach out to me. Give it to me. I know some people I can pass it on to.
Definitely. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't have no connections in the ET world yet. Paranormal, there was a gentleman on my show a few weeks back. He's a demonologist, spiritual man, a pastor, I believe, if I recall. I can turn over information to him. Dennis Carroll is retired from active investigations. I can pass information to him. I can pass information over to William Nighthawk from High Strangeness podcast. You ought to try talking to him sometime. He's a First
maybe
Nation,
you can connect us. Yeah.
He's a First Nation shaman.
Wow.
Former Special Forces, NCO. He's got Down the Rabbit Hole and High Strangeness podcast. All you gotta do is join his Facebook page, but I will recommend you to him.
Yeah.
He's
Thank you.
great source. He's I consider him my mentor. He supports my show. He can tell you everything about Dogman, Lizard Man, portals, you name it. He can cover everything. I'm not sure if he's too much on paranormal. That's where Dennis usually came in for him before. They used to work together on the show. But he can cover a lot of the other stuff. If you had Dogman or other cryptids, William probably the one I'd talk to.
Okay.
But these are people to look out for. I'll send you the links for William.
Yes, please. That'd be
he might
great.
be somebody you might want to talk to. Seriously.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And Norman, one last time before we close it out here, can you tell the audience, the people, where they can find you and your work?
All right. Beyond the Veil, you can find us on Facebook. We're generally live on Tuesdays. This week and next week will be on Thursdays. You'll find us on YouTube live. You'll find me putting recorded shows on X, formerly Twitter, and audio versions on Spreaker. Right now, those are the 4 platforms, and maybe later this year I'll be expanding to a few more platforms. We'll see as time comes. Depends on what my producer says.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, Norman Meredith from Beyond the Veil, it has been an honor. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Abner, I appreciate being allowed to come and sit here and chat with you.
Thank you.
It was from my heart to come and chat with you on all this. Send me the link on this. I'd love to post it on my show.
Yes,
and
definitely.
let people see this, and I'll put it on X and see if I can get Ed, my producer, to put it out on Speaker.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay? So
once I get everything edited, I'll send it your way so you can post it up, man.
Great. I appreciate it. Anytime you want to do this again, I'll be more glad to talk.
Yeah.
If you want to talk, reach out to Jackie. She can talk to you about everything related to the psychic world. If you ever wanted to reach your readers or your listeners to know a little bit about the psychic world and some paranormal stuff, Jackie is a font of information.
Awesome. Definitely. I would take your word on that. And I definitely seen her on the show as your co-host. So she's a plethora of knowledge. She knows a lot. So that's amazing.
Very sweet lady. So, and I just learned don't ever cross her. Or accidentally make mistakes.
Good advice.
Yeah.
All right, Norman, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for being on Apocalyptic Anomalies. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Have a good night.
Night, Abner. Thank you again.
Thank you for watching the show, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. And remember to share the show because that's the only way that the podcast will grow. Until next time, everyone, stay safe, stay blessed, and remember to innovate honesty and always illuminate the truth. Bye.